Hey everyone, this is Karen with Over the Artsy Moon, and I love to help painters of all different levels and acrylic paint party owners. And sometimes they're looking for designs, and I love to help figure out those designs for people. So we're going to be painting something simple today on a pair of jeans. This is a design I created for the Artsy Moon Paint Club. That's my membership, and it's not open right now, but if you want to be on the waiting list, just let me know. And we're going to take a little piece of that. You can see the little sheep here, and we're going to add that to the other leg. So I would love for you, once you're coming on, to say hi and tell me where you're watching from. So I've been experimenting with acrylics on fabric for a little bit. I did paint an owl last fall, and I didn't use any medium or anything like that, and it kind of turned out that it looked great, but then it faded after some time in the wash. So you live and you learn. So I'm going to start with some chalk, and then I'll talk about the supplies as we go along. So if I'm going to have two sheep on here, I probably will just put one on this side, and all I'm going to do is maybe kind of right here. I'm going to make about the same size sheep. And so this is about one length and then a bit about that much more. Okay, so it just gives me an estimate for how big I'm going to make this sheep. And you can see it's just a flattened circle. It's just an oval. And so I'm just going to put that on there. I don't know if this is too low. He'll just be a little bit lower, or she'll be a little bit lower than this one. Or we can move it up a little bit. We can redo our chalk a little bit. That's the beauty of adding something like chalk to your to make your little design. You don't have to worry about it being perfect the first time. And then we're going to do like just a little oval. So this one's kind of straight up and down. This one got a little skinnier in the middle. So you can kind of see which one you like better. I think I kind of like this one that's pretty much uniform. So I'm just going to make a little oval here. Okay. And it doesn't look really great right now, but it's all good. And then we're going to do these floppy ears. So we're going to come off and come off. And if it sort of looks like a sheep, it's great. Okay, so we're just going to leave that there. And then since we have one tree here, I'm going to put one over here as well. And I can kind of just use my chalk to figure out how I want to do it. I always want to, with the tree, I want to be a little wider at the bottom. If you're coming on, let me know where you're watching from. Just say hi. Go ahead, and if you're watching on the replay, put replay in the comments. And so then I'm going to also put one over here. Have you guys painted on fabric? Is it something that you like to do? Let me know. And then this one's kind of tall, so maybe I won't put it quite so tall. I kind of want this to be like one whole scene here, even though it'll be on two different pant legs, right? And then this one, hi Cindy, great to see you. We're going to come up, maybe this one will be a little shorter tree, and I'll just kind of map that in there, okay? So hi Kamala, that's a beautiful name from Louisiana. Love it. All right, so I'm just going to make some simple, and you see how it kind of drags on the denim. Don't worry about that if that happens to you, but I want to make this V shape, okay? I'm going to come out here, here. Maybe this one will do like a red bud. When I did this painting for my club, I kind of did this one like a red bud, and then this was a red bud with the purple in there, and then these are like my blossomy cherry. Jessica says she's from Indiana. She's a pair of capris. You're going to paint on them. Yay. Or you already did paint on them. Fabulous. Okay, I love it. It's so much fun to just try different things, right? Okay, and then this one I'm going to just make more like a circular shape. This is going to be my red bud, so maybe this is going to come out a little bit. Okay, you can just kind of play with it. You know, red bud trees are a little bit wilder. And then this is kind of the area I'll have for my my tree that will kind of go with this one. All right, so that's all I'm going to use my chalk for. And so what kind of mural did you make, Jessica? I'd love to hear about it. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to talk about the paintbrushes. You don't have to use all of these. The first time I did this, I think I just used this one, and this is a 3/4 inch flat. And I might have used the fan brush, I think. And then I have this one. This is like a little stencil brush. You can use it for adding little stippling marks. So that's something that would be kind of easy to use. If you have it, it's rounder. I'll show you how you could use something like this or a different kind of brush too. And then if we need our little detail brush, we'll have that available. So let's start with this one right here. I love seeing that everybody's excited about painting, and something that I'll show you one more thing before I get started. I did a little test when I got home today from work, and this one I painted, they both have 2 layers. This is just my little test spot. So I used the textile medium, and I mixed in, you're going to use 1 part textile medium to 2 parts paint. And I did white first for this one and then a layer of the magenta, just to show you how powerful white can be if it's underneath another color. And then there's 2 layers of the magenta, but on top of that denim color, that's what the effect was. So you can see you'd have to do a lot more. So just keep something like that in mind when you're adding your colors, because it'll be a lot easier. Okay, Jessica's saying she did a butterfly mural. Oh, wow. That's going to be fun. I love it. I'm so happy to share with you, Jessica. I am very happy that you're here and excited to learn. All right, so let's get some of our black on here. We're going to do the sheep first, just get a first layer of black on that. We want to have the black underneath. Is this black? That's green. Sorry. Where is the black? Nope. I thought I grabbed the black. All right, well, oh, here it is. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm going to pour some black, and then we're going to have some of this textile medium. So take note about how much I have there, and I'm going to shake this up really well. Oh, shake, 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 shake. Hey, Luce, nice to see you. I appreciate you popping on. And then kind of just, it's pretty liquidy. You're just going to take about, 1 part of the medium to 2 parts of the regular paint, and I'm using the multi-surface. I did look on Folk Art's website to see if you actually have to use the medium, since I'm using these multi-surface paints, but they do recommend it for fabric. And then I'll tell you all about how to finish this off to do it with your heat setting at the end. Okay, so you guys remind me to do that. Okay, remind me to tell you all about the heat setting. So I've got this on my brush, and all I'm going to do is come in here. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to put something under here. You know what? It did not go through when I did this one, so I think we're okay with denim. But if you're doing something a little thinner, like you're doing maybe a canvas bag or maybe definitely a t-shirt, you'd really need something underneath that would not stick to it. So I just used cardboard when I did the other one, but just an FYI with, here I'm just pushing my brush as I go along the edge there. And this is not going to look great because it's just going to make it look even darker, but I want to have these layers with my painting. Okay, so just fill this in. And where was I going? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, just so if you're doing something thinner than denim, you're going to need to have something under, like they recommend like a waxy kind of surface. So I guess if you ever had something with styrofoam or something like that still around, that would work. Or you could wrap some cardboard in plastic wrap or something like that. Okay, so here we go. And I'm not going to worry about this chalk outline at all. This is just my first layer, okay? And I will come in with this. The only thing here is, I've got all this black paint. At the end, I might be using some of it, but some of it I'm not going to need. What I will do is add the black to their faces. If you're not super comfortable with using a bigger brush like this, this is one you could use something smaller for these detailed areas. I think this ear is a little bit too long, so I'm going to make it a little shorter when I paint it in here. Okay, so you can kind of see where the face or the head is there. All right, and I'll make two back legs here and 2 front legs. All I'm doing is just kind of dropping those lines in there. All right, and we're not going to worry about that because they probably won't show up anyway. So now I'll just rinse this brush off, and I'm going to go to the white next. So give that a good rinse, and if you have a rag or a paper towel, you'll see that these brushes hold a lot of the paint. So you want to get something to grab most of that paint. I use a rag over and over and over all the time for this kind of stuff. So it should be pretty clean. If it has a little black in there, that's okay too. All right, and now we'll grab some more of that textile medium. Not too much, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the white here. So I'll put it next to it so I can kind of gauge. Since this is so liquidy, it's hard to tell. You guys probably can't see that. You see the thick blob next to the thin blob. Okay, so we'll mix that up. Whoops, I don't want that to go into my green. It's a little different working with the medium, right? Because if you were doing a paint party or something like that, you could have it pre-mixed. Some of my members are paint party owners, and so that's what I would recommend for them, is to have that pre-mixed ahead of time with the medium if they're going to do something like this at a paint party. All right, so now I'm just going to come on and do the tree. So coming straight up, and I'm going to come across over here. And this is not my first layer. Okay, or I'm sorry, it is my first layer, but it's not my last layer. So I'll be adding more. So I am going to go over those lines with the white. Remember that little bit I showed you at the very beginning? So who likes sheep here? Are you guys going to paint something like this, or are you going to try it with a different type of image or idea of a painting in mind? What are you thinking? Okay, so this one is my rounder tree, and we'll be able to layer this as well. All right, but for now we'll just kind of get our area marked out. And then the other thing I'm going to do with this white to get my first layer on here is just to come at the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to come up, and it's a little goofy. See how the pant leg is a little bit curled up there? So I could just kind of pull it down. I could have ironed it ahead of time, but does anybody actually use an iron anymore? Tell me, are you a person who irons? And I'm from Canada originally. That's where my accent, so I have to say it, irons. People laugh at me where I am now, but that's just the way I am. Okay, so we're going to come under here and kind of pull up as well. And if it's not 100% coverage, that's okay. So are you pro iron, or are you I'm not touching that thing with a 10-foot pole kind of person? I did so much ironing when I was a kid. My mom was old school, and she'd always leave me some special tasks on the weekend to do. So I would spend a couple hours probably ironing everything. It was back in the day when it was all cotton and linen, and now I don't even buy that stuff because I love the look like of linen, but to go buy it and know I'm going to have to iron it is not something I really enjoy. Okay, so this guy's already almost dry. So we can take these two colors here. I'm going to take a little bit of black and mix it in with my white here. Oops, I grabbed some green too. Doesn't matter. He's going to have a little green tint apparently. All right, we'll go even a little bit more here. I'll have to mix up some more white. That's okay. All right, so let me know in the comments if you are pro iron or and then it's going to matter when you're finishing this, because some of the things I had read about, they were saying that you definitely had to press this, heat seal this with an iron, but there is another way. Does anybody know? Let me know if you already know how to finish this. It's not too hard. Actually, I think I like the way they're suggesting, because definitely you could heat seal it with an iron, but some of my friends don't even own irons. I couldn't believe it when I heard that, but I really haven't used mine for a while. Sorry. Okay, Rhoda's saying, I can't quite read that. Okay. All right, so do you see I'm leaving a little bit of the black showing there? We're just going to continually leave a little bit from below showing, and it's going to be layering on, and then we're going to end up with it pretty white after, but it's going to be mostly covered up. And I know this looks a little messy, so let me make sure I can come around the head here and get some of that covered up. All right, so you can see, oh, don't worry about it, Rhoda, if you're late. Deanna says, pro iron. I do a lot of ironing since I sew and quilt. Yes, you absolutely would have to, especially quilting. I think that's what turned me off of quilting. I wanted to learn how to quilt, and then it was so much of the ironing and being super precise. I guess that's why my artwork is not super precise. Like, you don't need a tracer for this one. Sometimes people want a tracer, so I'll get them a tracer because they don't, they feel nervous about painting without, a little help, right? And I'm like all about that. I would rather get everybody painting than feeling nervous, and especially if you're doing something like a paint party, or if you're helping people who are painting the first time. Like, some of my people are people who haven't done a lot, and it can be a little nerve-wracking, right? If you haven't done a lot of painting, you come in, you see this blank canvas, it can be a little nerve-wracking. So definitely I provide tracers and stuff if people need them. But so here, where was I? I'm going to just show you this first part. So you want to make sure you get all the way around. And if we go over his head a little bit, or his ears or her ears a little bit, it's okay. We'll still come around back to that. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm not going to worry about rinsing my brush off, but I am going to grab some of the brown now. Okay, we're going to do our first layer of the trees. So get some brown, probably about the size of a quarter. And so Deanna, does anybody agree with Deanna? Are you guys all like pro iron? You like irons? What kind of things have you quilted before, Deanna? So a little bit of that fabric medium. Remember, we're going about 2 to 1 with our fabric medium. Okay. And we're mixing up that medium into the brown. And then I'm going to still use this brush. This is a very stiff brush, okay? So if your brush is a little bit, let me show you with a different one. Let's see. If your brush is a little bit more bendy like this, let me just get this one wet, wipe it off. You can take your brush and get it into your paint, but then go back and forth so you get a nice sharp edge. With that other one, it's very, it's already going to stay stiff and hold its shape. But we're just going to get some color on here, and we're just going to come over. If a little bit of that white is still showing, that's totally fine. That's all right. Okay, but we're just going to get some of that color on here, and if your branches don't look perfect, it's okay. So all I'm doing is holding my brush straight up and down, and that makes it a little easier to just get right into the places you want. Wow, this is really soaking up the paint, so I'm probably going to need to mix a little bit more of the brown, but we'll see how it goes. Let me do the other one. I'll just scoop up all of this brown back and forth with my brush, and then I can come down or it can go up. It doesn't matter. See what feels comfortable for you. I think a lot of people like to come down with their brush, but everybody's different, and everybody likes to do things a little differently, and it feels good different ways. Okay. So let me just do one thing real quick. I just gotta switch something here. Okay. All right, so it is very light, absolutely. And we're not going to see too much of the tree. We will see part of the trunk, but I am going to come back into that black. So I probably will grab a little bit more brown. And I think there's probably enough medium in here for it to work. The thing with the medium, that fabric medium is, it's supposed to make your fabric soft and pliable. So I didn't use it on this side, and it's almost like stiff and crackly. So that's a good lesson for me, follow the manufacturer directions. So now I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to come along the left side here. If this brush feels too big, like there's too much on it, you could pull some off like this, okay? Or you can get a skinnier brush and then just come up. So we're just adding a little bit of darkness here. And you'll see some lighter lines here too, but remember that's from the chalk partially, but it's also from where we added the white underneath. And it doesn't matter too much up here if you make a little mess or something, because we're going to cover it up. Okay, so let's rinse this brush off, and we're going to go ahead and grab our, oh, let's do this one. I haven't used this one before with you guys. So let's mix some more of the white. And remember, once you pop on, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you've painted on fabric before. If you did, what did you paint? Let's make a little bit more of this. Okay. And we'll pour some of that medium on next to it. Just kind of guess. It doesn't have to be super precise. Okay, and this will be available on replay too if somebody's unable to make it. All right, so now this is pretty light, and if I want to still have a medium, like just a little bit less, I'm going to mix into a spot over here to get a little bit of gray. Okay, that's still pretty light, or pretty much the same color. So we'll get a little more white, and then we can pounce on here again. Okay, so remember, don't go covering every single part of this up. We're just going to cover up part of it. Okay, and it's going to start to get looking fluffier and fluffier the more we do this with our layers. I'm all about the layers. Do you guys love the layers? I love them. If you are a layers person like me, go ahead and type layers there, because I just, I want somebody to agree with me. Rhoda has not done fabric before. Okay, it's really not too much different than painting on other surfaces. It just, like, it kind of goes with you, and you have to do a little bit more prep work, but it is going to be kind of fun wearing these around. You know, it'll be a nice experience. Okay, Rhoda says she loves layers. Thanks, Rhoda. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up with this, and then we're going to go and add some of our flowers and our greens in here. Okay, actually, you know what? Before we do that, since I've got the white on here, I might as well add a first layer of white for our trees. So we're just going to come around and see how there's not too much paint on here. Oh, there's a lot. I lied. As soon as I said that, that happened. Michelle says, does the paint stay on when you wash? Yes, yes, it does. Think about if you've ever gotten acrylic paint on your clothes when you're painting or whatever. I'm just going to kind of go in a circle. I kind of drew a circle here, but I'm just going to fill in slightly, but it can go a bit over or inside the circle a little bit. That's really fun. Yeah, it's hard to get it off, but the thing is with acrylics, you're gonna, and doing them on fabric, they will fade, they will kind of crackle a little bit if you haven't put the medium in there. So you could have the multi-surface paint on there, but you're also gonna want to have that textile medium on there. Okay, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, we're working on this, and this is what we're sort of doing. I want to have something different on both legs, just so, I know this sounds weird, but a little bit, you know, something different. And definitely, if you wear something like this that you painted, it's a good conversation starter, and you can just have fun with your artwork. Okay, so for this one, I'm not going to use this brush. I'm going to rinse that one off. We're going to use, for the redbud tree that we're going to make, I'm going to use this fan brush. Okay, so you can dip into the fan brush, and we're just going to think about how redbud trees are. They're more like, they kind of come up a little bit, but some of them are almost like straight across horizontal. So we could just add our horizontal first, kind of going right over everything, and then we'll add some more that are going up as well. So we'll just do some all the way to the top. Maybe up here I'll just go up a little bit. There's a question, where do I get Textile medium. I'm sure you could get it on Michael's. I ordered mine off of Amazon because I didn't have time to go to the store. But you can definitely get it at Michael's, I'm sure. It does not have to be folk art. I just, I usually have folk art that I use and in my paints. And so I thought I'll just stick with it and, and I am going off onto the back a little bit. Doesn't matter. It'd be kind of fun to do this all the way around. Now I'm going to take my brush and kind of work it. Just look at the branch and then kind of come on a diagonal from where those branches are. Okay, so that should give me the look I'm looking for. And as it dries out, then you can go get more paint. I will need a little purple for this red bud. I didn't think about it. I was kind of just spontaneously deciding to, oh, thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate that. It really helps when you sprinkle. You know what? It's just small businesses, we really appreciate anything that you can do to help us out. It's so sweet of you to do that. Very kind. Okay, so do you see the difference in these two trees? This one's definitely a little rounder, and then the other one is, I'm trying to make that one a little bit more like a redbud tree, okay? And then while we're still using this, I'm going to go ahead and get the magenta. Okay, so the magenta, come on magenta. All right, I'm going to make two little, no, you know what, I'll mix it in with the white. All right, now I'm forgetting my fabric medium. And if you're just popping on, this is what I originally painted for the Artsy Moon Paint Club. That's my monthly membership. And so I give them like 2 or 3 paintings every month. And they're, some of this is probably one of the longer ones, but I'm thinking this is a way you can take this longer painting and take the pieces of it and then incorporate it into, something different. It would be kind of fun to paint one of these little trees on like a wine glass, something like that. I'm deciding what I should paint on this. So if you have any ideas for a future tutorial, let me know. I should have mixed this up before I keep on talking here. All right, so mixing that up with that fabric medium. Isn't that a beautiful color, right? So lovely, so lovely. All right, I'm going to just go straight up with this, but I have a ton of paint now that I mixed that, so pull some of it off. If you go with a super heavy brush, you're not going to get that ethereal kind of look. So I'm just going to remember where those branches were, and I'm just going to kind of use my brush and come along. Okay, and I'm just coming out. I don't want it to be like like I'm coming out in a radius. So think about where the branches were, and you're going to do some little diagonals. So you can tap back in when you need more. You can come past the circle. That's okay. That's allowed. That's what nature is all about, right? So keep on going back to that magenta. And we're tapping out. And then let me just get a little more. I went a little heavy there. I'll show you how to fix something like that, okay? So think about the overall shape, what you want it to look like. And then I'm going to do some of these over here. So this is my red bud that I'm trying to mimic. Anybody have a red bud? I mean, they're gone already. And here in Chicago area, the red buds are gone, but so many other beautiful things are growing, right? I just love this time of the year. It's just such a time of renewal and beauty, and it's wonderful, isn't it? All right, we want some of these strokes or these taps to be almost horizontal, but we do want to have some coming up diagonally off those branches on both sides. Okay. Yes, totally fine, Michelle. Definitely watch the replay. And then if you guys do paint this or something with fabric, please post in the group on the event or on my page, or you can send it to me. Whatever works for you, and I'd love to see it. Okay, so I'm going to do just a little bit more down here too. And we'll come back and we're going to do a lighter layer. But while I have this magenta, now I'm going to start coming down here. We're going to add some of these flowers. So I'm just going to have my brush coming straight. You know what? I should do the green first. All right, so let's work on the trees a little bit more. We'll come back to that magenta. So I'm just pulling in some of that white, and then I'm just going to come back now and do some more of this. You just keep on going back and repeating, but not covering up everything underneath completely. Your neighbor has one and you love it. Oh, hey, Susan, how are you? Thanks for saying that. She said, I love your tutorials. It's so much fun to try different techniques and different things like fabrics. I'm just curious, what has everybody tried for their surface? What have you used? Have you used have you done the wine glasses? Have you done like a burlap sack, or maybe what else? I had the whole list of things I was thinking about. Let me know what you guys have painted on, because there's so many things. Have you done like little coasters? You could do those on wood or tile even. I was thinking it'd be kind of fun to just do little smaller pieces of my regular paintings on different surfaces, but if you have an idea for something you'd like to see, I'd love to know. So just let me know in the comments. Or if you'd like to try, learn different. So Suzanne, I have these old leather suitcases somebody gave me. Isn't that incredible? Is that what you used? She said she painted on old suitcases. I love it. Canvas bags are fun too. That would be really fun. Okay, and then I can even go lighter, you guys, but I'm going to get purple in here, I promise, okay? Let's just go with white. I know we started with white, but I always like to get that white in there and get those highlights. But we're going to be a little more selective now, okay? We're just going to do this kind of slowly. We're just going to see where it needs it. We'll put some down. You can always come back to it too, right? We don't have to be like, oh, I need to get it all done right now. We can just think about it, work on another part of the painting, and we can always come back to it. Yes, the old leather ones. Yes, they're so incredible. Like, I've been hoarding them because I just don't want to mess them up. Isn't that silly? Like, or maybe I can't even decide what I want to put on. So I'm kind of like in a conundrum as to what to do. All right, let me find some purple. I think this one. Nope, that's too blue. Let's see, this one might work well. Okay, I don't know if this is open. I have to get this open here. I don't need too much purple. I'm just going to blob on a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Grab my textile medium. Yes, I'm going to do it, Susan. I think that's a good encouragement from you. I think that would be super fun. Look, I got this paint on here. I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm just going to mix this up. And it's going to give it a little pink in there because I'm mixing it with that magenta, right? And then I'm going to come over to my red bud, and I'm just going to carefully just add. I've got too much paint on there, so I'm going to take some and put it onto my rag here. And then I'm going to go back. Okay. It's just going to give it a little bit of that purple look that red bud trees have. At least the ones here do. Okay, I don't know if you can even see that. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive with my paint here. Okay, yep, there we go. I think that's better. And then let me see. I'm kind of looking at the shape overall of the tree. I know they're a little bit different, right? So maybe we'll just go up higher a little bit. I'm going to twist my brush slightly and just do a little wispiness there, maybe a little of a wispiness over here. You got to be just brave sometimes and try it out. And thanks, Susie. That is so kind of you to say that. Sometimes you just got to try it, you know? Sometimes we get in our heads like, oh, I'm going to wreck it. Well, if I know it's a little different with denim here, but by the time you're done, nobody will notice a little slip of your hand or a little mistake that you think you made. Honestly, it's just a matter of trying it and you know, doing your best. Okay, we're going to take a little white in here with that purple, and then we'll just give this a little highlight too. So I could just mostly be at the top of these branches with the highlight, but this is not like super authentic, like hyper realistic is what I'm trying to say. It's definitely authentic. I'm definitely authentically presenting this to you, I promise. But it's just a matter of, you know, we're not trying to replicate a photo or something. And I love that kind of artwork too, but that's not really my style. I love the whimsical. I love, you know, when I can do something like this and it's just, you get a whole feeling, right? And like look at the tulips. You get the idea of a tulip, right? But all it is just like a press of the brush. Simple and easy, but you get that feeling, you get that whole look with it. Okay, do you think that's good, guys? If you think these trees are good, except for the trunks a little bit, I'm going to add, type yes for me so I know you think they're good, or do you think they need a little bit more highlight? I might have to let them dry a little bit and then I'll see. Sometimes they get a little faded looking and then I might need to add a little bit of, oh, wait. Rhoda's Rhoda's saying red Buddha or red bud. She meant. Okay, that was funny. I got a chuckle. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to our little lamb here. And now my brush has the that purple in it. So I'm just making sure I get most of that out, and I'm gonna dip into the white here. Okay, and then we're coming back. Hello, little guy. Oops, I went right over his face. Look it. Check it. Okay. Oh, did you see what I just did? Okay. I'll show you how to fix that. Okay, it's all good. Boy, this is really liquidy. Okay, things are messing up here. This is just a lesson in real time, guys. Okay? It's okay. It's all good. So I'll pretend that everything's fine there, but I'm going to come around and give him a little texture, okay? So look, you'll see how I fix him up. And I'm also going to go around the edge there a little bit. Still not going through, so that's good. All right, let me fix up his head because it's a little messy right now. So I'm going to take my little liner detail brush, dip into that black. It's still okay. I'm going to pull and twist, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in his head here. I'm so sorry, little guy. You've gone through a really tough experience just now, but look, we can rebuild him. Okay? I know. Poor me. Okay. Sorry, that's my cousin laughing. I don't know if you can hear her. She comes on my lives with me sometimes, and she's laughing her head off at my silliness. So, I don't have my door shut, so she's down there laughing. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and give him his little legs back. Okay. They're probably not going to show up too much, but there we go. I think that's good. Okay. Are you ready for some of the green? I think that's going to make us all happy here. So let's go ahead and let's mix up our green. I've got that old green that I accidentally painted earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and get some of the lighter green. So this one is called Fresh Cut Grass, and this one is called Thicket. And I'm going to still use my fan brush here. I love the fan brush with this. Oh, I forgot. I got to mix up some of my textile mixture. So we'll just put some next to it here. And I know it's probably dangerous having both of them there, but we'll get this mixed up. And I'm just going to go with this brush and mix this up with the darker. So it ended up lightening a little bit, but I'm okay with that. And then I'm just going to come down at the bottom here, and I'm just going to have my brush vertically placed, and I'm just going to be blobbing it on there, okay? So you're going to come up, and you're just doing these. Some of these can be taller, some can be lighter. You could still do this with a different kind of brush, but since there's a lot of paint on here, it makes it easier to get that nice background. Okay, it just goes on really fast, and you don't have to worry about like spending a ton of time. So this is something, I'm not sure how long. I've been on 40 minutes. but I've been talking to you guys, right? So probably, I think when I recorded the other one here, or when I timed myself with this one, it took about 30 minutes. So if you're not distracted and doing other things, then you can kind of get these done a little more quickly. Some people worry about painting and they feel like, oh, I don't have enough time to paint. I just don't, know when I'm supposed to find enough time. And I'm always like, well, sometimes we get ourselves in our head a little bit. I added some white here, and we don't have to have a masterpiece every time. We can just be doing something fun and light. See what I'm doing with these little strokes? I'm just coming up lightly. It is wet underneath, but it's still allowing me to just add these strokes. I should got to make sure I'm coming straight up. Okay, and I can come right onto the sheep too. He's kind of, or she's nestled inside that little area here. And see how that looks? I might have to come back and redo this just to match it, but this is what I have now going. So I'm going to rinse off my brush. Do you guys like how the grass looks? What do you think? Is that something I should keep? If you think the grass looks pretty good, go ahead and give me a little heart. And I would certainly appreciate it. Make sure more people get to see this. I'm going to go to my magenta, tap in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and, even though it's still wet here, it's all good. I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going so lightly that it doesn't matter. It might mix a little bit, but it'll just make it look a little more muted then. Okay, so you don't have to wait sometimes 100% for it to dry completely. You can just go ahead and add these layers. Okay, so I'm going to actually go ahead and add a little bit of this color over here so these two sides will be cohesive. Okay, I can go into the white and get some pink on here now. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I also grabbed some of this fire coral. Isn't this a pretty color? And I also grabbed some yellow. So I'll just mix up a little bit of this one. And I'm not going to rinse off my brush. I'm just going to get that color in there. Okay, tapping, tap, tap, tap. If you have too much paint on here, tap onto your rag or paper towel. Then you can add a little bit of this color. Look how pretty that is. It's so, looks like these sheep are frolicking in a lovely wildflower garden. I'm going to bring this color over here. I don't think I had that before. See how easy it is to unify? Okay. I think I want to bring this up even a little bit higher. This one was higher on this side, so I'm going to try to be thinking about my whole scene. Okay. All right. Maybe a little bit right in here. And then I'm going to rinse my brush and grab that yellow. So the yellow will mix up a little bit. How do you get the new sheep white? Well, I will be adding one final layer. Okay. So make sure you have a pretty clean brush here for your yellow. Let's see, that's the Textile medium. That's probably too much, but I'll just use some of it. And pull off some of that extra. And I'm going to dip into the white too. Okay, I don't want it to be so bold and take over. And then I'm just going to be a little bit more selective where I put this. Any little gaps, or you see here how this was too dark, so this will be a good way to lighten that up. And then I'll just bring this lighter yellow over on this side. Honestly, when I did this side, I don't remember what colors I used, so that's what you get, right? Okay, so we're looking okay here, and I think we're going to add a little bit more white to the sheep, and I think we'll add a little bit of the white to the tree trunks to give that a little highlight. Do you guys think I need maybe a little bit more vibrant color, maybe a little bit more of that coral? Look what happens when I put that pink in there. Let's just add a little bit more of this straight up to kind of go with this, maybe a little bit here. I think that helps, right? And it kind of makes it more cohesive. So I'm going to rinse this off and Do I have any clean white? I think I need a little more white now. Got to find a little spot for some, just a little bit more white. Who's going to paint this? What do you guys think? Are you going to do it? Or are you going to do something different? Let me know what you think. And make sure you go ahead, if you get a chance, to sprinkle this. I really appreciate it. So I've got this on my brush. It's very thick. I got a little hair there. So I'm going to pull it off. It's almost like this with this method here. You don't want to have too much on your brush. You just want to have enough. I'll slow down this time as I go around the sheep's head. Okay, it's a little wet, so I think I will dry it slightly just so that it really takes that white. So you can get some. You can also offload onto your plate, but I filled up my whole plate so much that there's hardly any room, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this last layer. I think it's the last layer. We'll know in a minute. And you can come around, and I know the grasses are kind of there too, but you know, it's all right. It's all good. And then take quite a bit at one point, and you're going to be selectively putting more paint, but not everywhere. You still want to see those layers underneath. Okay, but can you see what happened? We got some texture in there. We got some depth. We have some layers, and there's one thing I like to do with these little guys, like take off most of that paint and then come along the edge here and just look, you're getting some really fluffy sheep. I hope that's not too much, but it's kind of fun to just see their fluffy, fluffy, fluffy wool. My niece started raising sheep, so I am a little bit partial to them. I think they're so cute and fluffy and just beautiful. All right, there's a little section here. That's just the chalk that was on there. So I can rinse off my brush, and even here, I'll show you what you could do. You can take a little bit of the water and just come in here if that's bothering you. Once you wash it, it will come off. I should tell you about how to wash these, okay? So what you're going to do first is either heat dry it, well, wait 24 hours, and then you're going to use a hot iron inside out on this side, okay, on the other side. Or what they said on the website for plaid is that you can throw it into the dryer on the highest setting that the fabric would allow. So I think you could go with denim. It could be pretty warm for a half hour, and that should set it as well. And then it should be totally fine for washing and wearing. Okay, so I'm using that little brush. I'm pulling and twisting, and I'm just going to come along. You know what? I'm going to add the black just to find those ears again. Let me just add the black real quick. So pull and twist. If your paint has gotten thick, you can always get it a little bit thinned out with some water. But let's find those ears again. And the head. Okay, and then we're going to rinse off our brush. I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer a minute. And then I'm going to use the white. I want to make sure I don't have any water on this silver part, but I'm going to pull and twist with my white so I get a nice point on my brush, and then I'll do the trees real quick while that's finishing drying. So I used a darker color on the left side, and I'm going to use a lighter color just anywhere I can see. I'm just going to put a little line, or I can do these little curves like this. So you might have to go back and reload if your brush is tiny. So you could just do that, or just the lines kind of at the top. If you want to try find those branches in there, I don't think I'm going to worry about it because they're kind of hidden. Okay, or you could just have it, you know, up and down, however you want to do it. Okay, I don't like both, honestly, so I'm going to grab a baby wipe. This is my trick for canvas. I don't know if it's going to work for fabric. We'll find out. It might just blend it nicely for me. Yeah, that worked okay. So I'm going to just take a little bit less on my brush and then just put a little bit on the right side, and that'll just give me a little bit of a highlight there. I can pull it down a little bit more so it's behind that, and I'll do the same thing on the right side here. Okay, I could even come in a little bit and just do some more lines. It's your choice, however you want to do this. You don't even have to do this part if you don't want to. Okay, and if you want to see some of those branches showing like this, then you can come into that brown and you just can come back and paint some more back in. Okay, but it's not necessary. I don't know if you liked how the tree looked, but if you want, you can have those coming back in, just here and there showing, or just skip it and just keep it super simple. All right, so let me see. I've got one more thing to do here. Pull and twist in my white, and then I'm going to come just along the edge. I'm just going to make these tiny little lines, these little curved lines, just like on the inside of the ear. Or I can, if I feel confident, I can do it in one stroke, or, you know, a few bigger strokes. But if you're nervous about that, plant your pinky and then just come along. Make sure you don't have too much paint on there. You can always go back and get some more. But see, we just had some little lines that help it. And if, say, you goofed up, what's the worst thing that would happen? You would just have to take some black and fix up any areas that you didn't like. Okay, but it's easy enough to fix, or just adjust. And let me know if you guys have ever done anything like with wool. Have you guys ever used it for yarn? Or I used to do this thing called needle felting, and it was really fun. I loved it. I added a little bit too much there, but I think that blended just fine. All right, so thank you so much for coming on with me. And if you have any questions about the process, or if you have any recommendations of what you would like to do in a future live, let me know. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do next week. I'm still deciding. But I'm thinking I might do something on a wine glass. I'm not sure. So I would love some ideas. If you can give me some ideas, that would be amazing. Everybody have a fantastic day, and don't forget, share some pictures with me so I can see what it looks like at your house with your painting projects. All right, take care. Keep painting.